Hey guys, my name is Daniel Mudheki and I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me today. Most importantly, I'd like to thank God for enabling us all to be here. And today you get to know why I always keep saying that I like thanking God for enabling us to be here. Because for me, it's not just a saying, it's the truth. God gave me a second chance in life. And you know what? This weekend actually is my 5th anniversary since God gave me a second chance to be here. And that's why I'm always grateful to Him. And today I'm going to share that story with you guys. And so if you have not watched any of my previous videos, feel free to go check it out on my YouTube channel. Remember to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share these videos with people who you believe they'll be of benefit. Well, wow guys, today is special day, Bana. In fact, I just want to relax and just talk freely. A lot of you have had probably a few things about me, things that happened to me in the past. And a lot of you also have had questions. Hey, Mudheki has really changed. He wasn't this kind of guy. You know what happened? And I'll tell you what happened. I was brought up in a family that was, my mom went to church. She took us to church from a very young age. My dad later came to, give his life to Christ and became also a guy who used to go to church. And so I've grown up going to church and, doing such stuff. But I remember, sometimes things just change kidogo. And I remember in 2007, when I say we, my family, we were victims of the post-election violence. And so we were evicted from where we used to stay. I used to stay in Olympic, an estate called Olympic Estate in Kibera number 9. Number 9 is finest. Anyway, long story short, post-election, so we lived apart as a family for a while because my folks and I and my sisters could not live in one place. So we kind of lived apart for a minute. And, that was a very difficult time also for our family. But finally, we were able to get back together and found a place where we could stay together and so on and so forth. So at that point, I remember I was in campus. I started experimenting a few things, cigarette smoking up on a pale, enjoying my whiskey 1 or 2. And now, so that became me. I was that guy, So we'd go out, have some fun, and go back home. And so this kept going on, and it became normal. It wasn't a big deal. And I remember so fast forward, I got employment. I'm working for a nice hotel company, lovely people I work for. The management is beautiful, so I'm really thankful for you guys. You know who you are. So I've worked there for a couple of years. And this was 2016. So the night of the 22nd, it was a Friday. So the night of the 22nd, I had a cocktail back in the office. There's something we call long stays. Long stays in the hotel industry are clients who stayed with you for probably longer than a week, or depends on whatever your SI unit is. But for us, it was clients who stay with you for more than probably a week or 2 weeks. So we just celebrate them and say thank you to them. And so we did a cocktail for them. And I was the in-house MC at work. So any functions at work, I'd tend to MC them. And so I loved doing it. So that day was no different. I emceed that event. We had a good time with the clients. And I think we ended around 8:30. So we'd had a couple of drinks and just decided to head out again. So I went out with my colleagues. We visited different spots in town and ended up on Baricha Road, where we had a couple of drinks. But now remember, the group that I had in the hotel for a couple of weeks, was checking out that weekend. So I had to head back to the office the next day, which is a Saturday, and do their billing, their financial billing, to ensure that they don't leave with any unpaid bills or anything of the sort. So that night was meant to be a very polite night. Nothing was to go out of hand. Everything was to be very balanced. So we went out, had a few drinks with my pals. So I think we were leaving the club. I was leaving the club probably around 1:32. I can't remember. But early in the morning as I'm heading home, I live on Mombasa Road, okay? So in the early morning, there were no cars. And I used to drive Subaru then. So I'd probably overspeed. Sometimes I'd give it a bit of gas, too much gas. So I was heading home, and just after Cabanas, just before the airport, I got a car accident. And it wasn't a good car accident because, I normally drive on the right side of the road because the left side, they're normally bus stops and everything and junctions. So it tends to have stop-go traffic, which I don't like. So subconsciously, I'm used to driving on the right side of the road. And so I was heading home, and just before the airport, there's a junction where if a vehicle is coming from the other side of Mombasa Road and needs to go to the airport, they need to come and take a turn and take lane into the airport. So here comes Dan, who's probably doing very high speeds. And a truck just comes and gears the road and pulls like 3 lanes. So because it was dark and the trucks are not illuminated, I saw the truck probably with 20 meters to spare. And you can see the time of night it was. So I was probably speeding. And so I swerved. And that was the start of the changing of my life, because my car veered off the road and I went into the bush that was there. There's like a place where GSU normally protect. So my car went in there. I'm telling you, my car flipped, rolled, turned, did everything for almost 600 meters, 700 meters. Now, all this I'm telling you now, I'm being told because I lost memory of all this. So these stories now, the GSU guys who are there are the ones who rushed to my car. Thank God, that week it was in January, so we were doing intensive sales in the office, okay? So we called them sales blitz. So it was quite intensive, so my car was full of collateral, company collateral, my business cards and everything. And so those are the first things the GSU guys got to pick up, the officers, okay? And so when they picked up my business card, they called the office and asked, hey guys, do you know a guy called Daniel Mutheki? And thank God whoever was on the switchboard that day, it was a good friend of mine, and they were like, hey man, I know Mutheki, what's up? Yeah, the guy got a bad car accident and he's here on Mombasa Road. And so she quickly thought about it and said, just hold on to the line. I'll just hold on to the line. I'm getting the hotel doctor. So they called our in-house doctor, who I think God was just doing a miracle, because when she was called and spoke to the cops, the first thing she told them is Daniel has a problem with his lower back. I used to have a problem with my lower back then. And so I had already sought some medical intervention about that. So she knew about it. And so she told them, Daniel has a problem with his lower back, so don't move him from the scene. Don't touch him. We are sending an ambulance. And so that was a very important move. Later you'll come to understand why I'm saying that. But that was a very, very important move that was made at that point, because they didn't touch me. But apparently, I think I tried to get out of the car and I couldn't. So I think I tried calling my wife, then my phone just went blank and died. So anyway, long story short, this guy sent an ambulance. It comes, picks me up from the scene of the accident, and I find myself in Nairobi Hospital. And I was all hysterical, screaming, blah, 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 blah. And everybody was in hospital. My colleagues had been told about this, because now, I was out with my pals. And so I think when they, I don't know how they got to know it, but they got to know that I was in hospital. And when the HR now called some of my friends, were you guys with Daniel? Yes, he got an accident. Let's meet in Hosi. So guys came to Hosi. Our managing director of the company actually came to hospital to see me as well that day. And my folks were also told about it. So my dad at that point was fasting. And he'd done a 21-day fast. And so when they were called by a friend of mine in the office, my folks were broken. So they dress up, they come to hospital. My wife at that time was also called by my brother-in-law and told her Dan is in Hosi. So she's so stressed, wondering now what's up. So she packs her stuff, and in her mind she thought, okay, this might be something that is really not good. Then she was my fiance. So she was in the house, so she picked up my drawers, a change of clothes, and came to Nairobi Hospital. So while I was there, the doctors had said that this guy has broken bones. His ribs seem broken, his arms seem broken, and probably some internal bleeding. And so they had to check me out to make sure that that wasn't the case. So at that point, my mom just, you know how she was just tired. She was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Just show me where the chapel is. And that's what one of the doctors did. They showed her the chapel in Nairobi Hospital. My mom went to pray. And she tells me when she was praying, she had from God, man. She had clearly from God. And God told her, Daniel has no broken bones. Even though Daniel walks through the valley of the shadow of death, do not fear, for I am with him. The snare is broken. Daniel is free. The snare is broken. Daniel is free. And that's what my mom heard. And so she comes back to tell my dad this. And she's telling my dad, I've had A, B, C, D from God. I've prayed and this is what I've felt. And my dad is asking her, but the doctors have said he probably has broken ribs, probably has internal bleeding, probably has a broken arm, has a broken, we don't know what is messed. And my mom just said, let's just keep the faith. And so I was taken to HDU because I wasn't stable at that point. My breathing, I could not breathe on my own because I don't know why I couldn't breathe on my own. But so I needed support from the machines. So I was in HDU, and so they did all the tests and found out that I had no broken bones. I had no internal bleeding. I was absolutely fine. But now 2 days later, they managed to take me for an MRI. And what they came across was quite startling because I had fractured my neck. All right? And in the process of doing so, my spinal cord was injured. It had a tear. And so, I was paralyzed, you know? That was crazy, man. That was heavy. I was paralyzed waist up. And you know, the funny thing is, the previous day I was in a suit, man. Those who know me in a corporate lifestyle, I love suits. I love good suits. I love looking smart, man. And so the previous day I'm in a suit. The next day, 2 days later, I'm paralyzed in Nairobi Hospital. And that was a tough pill to swallow. Really tough pill to swallow. I had a dislocated arm, which the doctors checked out, and it ended up being okay. But now the challenge was my C6, cervical spine, okay? My C6 was fractured and had compressed my spinal cord, and there was a tear. So now that had caused paralysis. So I didn't have, I remember telling my fiancée then, babe, I can't feel myself. I can't feel my arms. I can't feel touch. I can't feel anything. And I was scared. I was really scared because I didn't know what this was about. I didn't know if I'll make it through. I didn't know if I'll survive all this. And you see, in hindsight, I understand why God made our hotel doctor insist on me not being touched. Because if those GSU guys had tried to, help me, carry me up, and to look for a vehicle that is passing and take me to hospital, that would have damaged me completely. Because that would have extended my damage on the spinal cord. And that's why I say, guys, if you're ever in an accident scene, please don't just secure the area. Make sure the vehicle is not burning. There is no hazard that can take the life of the person inside. Find out if they're communicating to you, hi, if they're giving back feedback. But really avoid carrying them up and trying to, try and get professional help, because a lot of people lose their lives at that point. A lot of people get permanent injuries at that point. And the doctor who was treating me told me, Daniel, if that had happened to you, I don't know what would have happened. Probably you'd have died, or you would have been paralyzed, complete nerve damage, complete spinal cord damage. And so that's something I came to learn. If you find yourself ever in an accident situation, don't be too quick to evacuate people unless the car is on fire or something dangerous is happening. Just take your time and wait for professionals to come and do it. So, yeah, so that's me, man. I mean, I can't feed myself. I can't do anything. I'm on breathing tubes because I couldn't breathe on my own. You know, the C6, the body is interesting. The C6 is responsible for a lot of thoracic activity. You know, you're breathing. You are involuntary things that your body does. That part of the spinal cord is responsible for that. And so I couldn't do a lot of those things. You know, guys, I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. Those simple things you take for granted. Going to the bathroom, going to the toilet. I couldn't do that by myself. I had to get medical assistance for that. I had to be on medication for that. And so that was a tight period. And I remember it took probably a week in HDU or longer. Then I finally was able to breathe on my own. And so I was moved, HDU I think was 2 weeks. So I was later moved to a normal ward. And this was, I remember the ward today, I'll never forget, it was St. Andrew's, St. George's ward in Nairobi Hospital, bed number 6. Because that night, the night I moved, I remember lying on my bed and I had a very, very clear voice talk to me. And I had it say, "Daniel, now you're not too busy for me. You'll be like this for a while. But don't worry about your job. Don't worry about your finances. Don't worry about your health. Don't worry about anything. For your life is in my hands. Daniel, you're not too busy for me now." Wow. And I was like, what is that? Who is that? That is so clear, Bana. So clear I could, it wasn't a dream. And so immediately I just felt I felt like something just came over me and wanted to leave me. Something that had been holding me down just wanted to leave me. And immediately I just rededicated my life to Christ, man. I was like, God, I'm done. I am done trying to live life my own way. I am done trying to do things my own way. I am done. That's it. I have lived 30 years of my life in a certain way. And now I want to live for you. You know, and immediately, my friends, I'll tell you, I felt a weight get out of me. I felt a heavy thing like it just got out of me. And I became light. You know, I remember my folks came in the next day. And so I called them separately. I told them, I'd like to talk to you guys. So they walked in and I told them what happened. And I told them that I had dedicated my life to Christ and that I was done. I was done living a life that was risky, living a life that was guesswork, chasing things that are not permanent. I did a video, my first video on YouTube, check it out, was on No One Knows Their Checkout Time. So that was me. I've been there. I almost checked out prematurely. I've been there. And so I told my folks, I'll live a life that will be pleasing to God and also to you guys as my family. And immediately I remember when I did that, my mind just opened up in a different way. And everything I'd ever read about, in the Bible, anything I'd ever studied in the Bible in the past, just started bubbling in me. And I moved from a point of knowledge. Knowing something is one thing, understanding it is another. And I moved from a point of knowledge to a point of understanding. And I started comprehending the Word of God and understanding it. And God broke it down in my mind. And I remember in hospital being so excited, telling my dad, "Oh my God, Dad, this is what it's about. I finally understand what this means. I finally understand what the scripture means. And these guys thought I had gone crazy. My fiance actually went and asked the doctors, "Have you changed his meds? Have you changed anything? Because he's a bit different. He's behaving differently." And they said, "Z, And so there's a lady counselor who used to walk around counseling people, finding if guys are okay, because guys lose it in hospital. So I remember that evening when she came to counsel me, I was the one counseling her. As in, I was speaking, she just chilled and started listening to me. I spoke, I can't remember what I was saying, but I just spoke and spoke and spoke. And from then onwards, she told me, Daniel, I'll be picking you up at this time every evening, rolling you around in a wheelchair as we go and visit other accident victims, so that you can talk to them and encourage them and tell them that their life is not over, but they can still do something with their lives. That time I'm paralyzed, guys. Waist up, I can't do jack. I can't move my hands. My hands were like this. I can't move my hands, I can't move my neck. So I remember there's a time, so we continued there. I continued the hospital. I started doing physiotherapy. Physiotherapy, guys, I'll tell you the truth, is worse than the accident. Physiotherapy is worse than the injuries. It is the worst thing you can ever go through. It's painful. It takes every bit of you, your mind, your body, your soul, everything. Physiotherapy is crazy. So I remember, doing my physio, and so I'd been in hospital probably for a month or so. And, I couldn't do anything on my own. So I hadn't been brushing my teeth for a minute. So I probably had a bit of a stench. So I remember my fiance came in one day, and what she did, I'll never forget. Because Pesh took my toothbrush and started brushing me. So that time, I'm laid head back like this, I can't move. So she started brushing my teeth, and you see the white stuff we spit out, she picked it with her own mouth. She came close to my lips, picked it, all of it, spat it out, took water, gave me, I gargled, I gave her back the water, she spat it out. Oh. And that's what my wife did for probably 4 months of my healing process. She always used to do, that's how she brushed my teeth for the longest time, because I couldn't do it. And I remember my mom coming in and seeing what was happening, and my mom was like, oh my God, Pesh, what are you doing? She said, I had to clean him because he'd been taken a minute before he brushed his teeth. And my own mom told her, I can't even do that. I can't even do that. Wow, and if that's not love, man, what is love? And at that time, she's not my wife. She's my fiancée. I'm paralyzed. Will I ever be okay? Those thoughts were passing through my mind. Will she stay with me? Will she risk the rest of her life being with a guy who might never be able to do anything again? But Pesh was there for me, man, 150%. She was there for me. Wow. Babe, I always tell you, there are things I can't pay you back. I can't. But every day I pray that God will pay you back. Because God is able. And He'll give you joy. He'll give you peace. He'll give you long life. He'll give you health. He'll give you the desires of your heart. And I pray that I'll be a piece of the puzzle that will bring all that to you. I pray that God will give me the ability to always be there for you, and just to show my appreciation to you. And so, this time was really hard. It was really hard, but my family came through for me. I remember my mom would come and see me every day, my mom and dad. Every morning they were there. Man, morning, lunchtime, evening, they were there for months. My fiance came every time. I had a friend, my friend Kimaru came every day. Kim used to leave Karen and come and see me every day. My friend Pius saw me every day. A lot of people prayed for me. But that was a turning point in my life. God gave me a second chance. And the thing I want to ask you today is this. Not everybody is fortunate enough to get a second chance in life. What are you doing with your life now? I'll urge you, don't waste it away. Realize the people who are important in your life and cherish them. Forgive those who have hurt you. Love the unlovable. Be the best version of you today. Because tomorrow is promised to no man. You know, on the 22nd of January 2016, I was in a suit, all dressed up, looking fly. My car was always clean. But that morning, the next day, I was in hospital, paralyzed, waist up. So I'll ask you guys, just take care. Take care of the people in your life. Don't wait. Don't go through what I went through to change. Don't go through what I went through to make drastic decisions in your life. It's too painful. It's costly. But I really thank God for what He did in my life. Because fast forward, I was discharged. I remember, I remember the day I was being discharged. Felt momentous, man, because I was so excited I'm going home. So I had to move, we had to move out from my place. So we went to stay with my mom and dad because, I had to be taken care of around the clock. So that day when we were leaving hospital, my dad had to drive at like 3 km per hour of 4-bar. As in slowly, because the road just, my neck, your neck is so important. Don't take, your head is heavy. So your neck supports over 8 kilos. So my neck was so fragile that this movement on Mombasa Road, on anywhere we were going, I felt like my dad is trying to kill me. But I was telling him, Dad, just slow down. So they tried to move me to the front, tried to move me from the back. We actually thought we'd just go back to hospital, get an ambulance. I told them, Zizi, let's just go, but we go slowly. So we really went slowly and we got home. And, home home is best, So we got home and I didn't have a medical, like a hospital bed. Hospital is really an environment that is comfortable. You have nurses, you have painkillers, you have all these things that are helping you feel okay. But when you get home, all these things are cut off. So I got home at a normal bed. I didn't have that Kahosi bed that raises me and takes me down. So I remember the first night, we didn't even sleep in my bed. My dad sat with me in the living room the whole night till morning because that was the most comfortable place I could sit. So I was seated on the couch like this until morning. And my dad sat with me and just chilled with me and we just talked. When I blacked out kidogo, he'd try and sleep. When I woke up, he'd wake up and ask me if I'm okay. Take me to the bathroom, bring me back. And this is what these guys did for me from around almost 2 months or a month that I was home. I can't remember the timeline, but the time I was home, my dad would take care of me in the morning because, my fiance had to go to work and my mom had to go to work. My dad is a businessman. And so he would take the morning shift. So my dad would come in to my room in the morning and give me breakfast. He'd give me my fruits. He'd give me my medication in the morning. And we just share the word of God together and just talk stories and everything. He's the guy I used to chill with. So my mom then was able to leave work early. She talked to her guys at work. And so they allowed her to always leave a bit earlier. So she'd get home by maybe 1 to allow my dad to go and do his businesses. So mom would take care of me from 1 up until 6 or 7. So she'd do the afternoon shift. Then my wife, my fiance then, would come and do the night shift. So she's the one who would take care of me and, make sure I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep well, because it's your neck. So I think I got to sleep properly probably after a year or so. So it was a hard time. But my family really came through for me. And okay, another thing I also went through, I'd like to share this because it's important. I hope it helps someone out there. I'd put so much value in friends, I was that guy. That guy who had 1,000 friends. 1,000 boys, 1,000 everything, I was the life of the party. Unajua nikienda mahali mimi ndio kuchekesha watu, mimi ndio kufanya nini. And so your time when I was healing, I really expected guys to come through for me, you know. I expected people to come and see me every day. I expected I'll never be alone. People will be there helping my fiance. You know, my phone call will be my phone will be buzzing off the hook. You know, my friends wanted to know how I'm doing. But that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. You know, very few people came to visit me. You know, some who came to visit you the guy who came to visit me and took pictures of me. I don't know what that was for. But some just come to visit you to see, hey, is this guy still there? How is he? How badly off is he? You know. And that thing broke me, man. Because I'd put so much value in that, in friendships, you know. And I remember I'm a guy who gives a lot. I give. I normally expect the best from everyone because I give my best. So when I couldn't receive that in return, it used to hurt me so much. But I thank God that period I really learned how to self-entertain, how to be by myself, you know, how to value who I am, my relationship with God really grew and with my family. And God came through for me, man. But I'll tell you, don't wait. Don't wait to go through what I went through for you guys to, you know, change your life in a certain way, shape or form. Don't wait for that. So every day I'll be grateful to God for what He did. And fast forward, the same year, end of that year, we did a wedding. God provided finances. That time we didn't have cash yet. But God came through for us. I remember there's a time, the physiotherapy guy, because now I had to do physiotherapy from home. And physiotherapy is around 3,000, was it 3,000 bob a session? And that time I'm doing 4 sessions a week. That's 12 G's. I know I told you that, so that time I'm not working, but Jobo was still paying me. That was good. But being in sales, you know, sales has commissions. And that's where the bulk of your pay comes from. So not going to work didn't have commissions. But, so obviously if you think of, you know, our utilities in the house and all that, they obviously surpassed what it is we had. So there's a time I remember we didn't have any money, my fiancée and I at that time. And I remember telling her, if this physiotherapy guy comes, you just tell him we're not in. I'll just lenga the door. Okay, he'll pick at the bell, lenga, don't open. Then we'll call him and tell him that we'd stepped out. You know, we'd gone to see my mom or something. And I remember that's what we did on that Sunday. He came, he buzzed, we didn't open. And so he left. And he called my wife, and my wife said, oh, sorry, we've stepped out, but come back on Monday, come back tomorrow. So I remember that day, I just thought, because I didn't want to, you know, my folks were giving me money, and sometimes you don't want to be a bother to them. I know I was never a bother to them, but sometimes that's how I felt. I felt like I'm taking too much. I'm the one who's, you know, every resource is being directed to me. And I know they have things they want to do, so I just keep quiet with my problems. But I remember that time, I have an auntie, my mom's sister, just M-Pesa'd me a lot of money that Sunday. Money I didn't expect even her to have, you know. And she sent me that money and she told me that the Holy Spirit just led her. And she felt that I needed that money. And let me tell you, that money came through for a couple of weeks for my physiotherapy. You know, I just called the guy on Monday, I paid everything, and he kept coming for physio. And what I'm saying is, you know, I remember in Hosi, God told me, don't worry about your finances. And I tell you, God came through for me. I did physio for probably 8 months. And you can imagine 12,000 a week. Do the math. And God provided. I didn't miss a single bob. I did a wedding that year. You know, people just came through for me. You know, guys just came through financially. I remember my desk mate, right? Caro Bogwa, good friend of mine. We pangaed the wedding with her, just seated there. We panga pole, you know. And she came through for me. My workplace came through for me. Whatever it is they could give me, they did. My colleagues came through for me, my friends, my family, you know, my fiancé's family, amazing family, man. I thank God so much for them. And they came through for me as well. And we did a wedding. And this weekend is my 5-year anniversary. since God gave me a second chance in life. And so, my question is, not everybody gets a second chance. You watching this, you might not get a second chance. So are you utilizing today to the fullest? Or are you living a life that is so risky that will not guarantee you probably tomorrow? Take care of yourself. Take care of those who love you. Take care of your family. And just let the important things matter, man. Things you can't buy. You can't buy peace of mind. You can't buy love. You can't buy family. Those are things no money can buy. And so, focus on those things. But most importantly, have a relationship with your God. Because God is real. God is true. God is 100, man. I have felt Him. I have heard Him. He's real in my life. And so if there's nothing you learn from me, just remember this one thing. No one knows their checkout time. No one knows the day, the minute, or the hour of departure from this earth. And so maximize what you have today. Maximize the blessing called today. I learned the hard way. You don't have to. Okay? And so, until next time, take care. And God bless you guys so much. Cheers.